Hey guys, Steve Horst here with Musicolor, and today I wanted to go through a video walkthrough of the Musicolor Pedal 1 lighting controller for musicians. It's been a long time since I put out a video that goes through all of its features, so I wanted to do this one to go from start to finish. So without further ado, let's just kind of dive in. So for those of you who don't know, the Pedal 1 lighting controller, it's basically a foot pedal or a lighting controller that allows musicians to manipulate lighting, stage lighting, as they are performing on stage. What they do is this pedal analyzes the musician's pitches, harmonies, and dynamics, and then it basically takes that information and manipulates stage lights in a way that reflects and represents live music in a respectful way. And this is kind of just to give musicians a very immersive medium to give to their audiences. So just going over the hardware, you've got 3 foot switches here. You've got 4 rotary encoders with built-in switches. You've got 2 lighting displays. You've got a touch screen that does most of the functionality, and then you've got an onboard mic here. Going through the audio inputs, you've got an XLR and 1/4 inch combo jack that accepts these plugs for input, so microphone plugs, and 1/4 inch for like guitars and etc. You've got 2 optional expression pedal inputs, which I'll go through later, and then you've also got an 1/8 inch audio input. On the output side, it's a little bit simpler. It's basically just a combo XLR 1/4 inch jack for the output, as well as the 1/8 inch output. And then on the back side, it's very easy. You've got just a power input or power supply, and then DMX control, or a DMX plug, I'm sorry. So let's go ahead and dive into the touch screen and all the features. So you can see here on my lower right, I've got my expression pedal set up here, and what you're going to see when this is powered on, you've got your main screen here, which looks like this. So it's going to have it's got the Musicolor logo with a welcome message, the name of the pedal. If you have more than one, you can label them separately, and then it's got 6 different menus here. So we're just going to go through all of these. The first one being live mode, where that allows musicians to, that's kind of the performance mode. So you can do live manipulation as you're performing, or you can kind of set it and forget it. The next one is a songs menu, and that allows you to build set lists with different songs, and each you can set the song like color parameters and stuff. You have a tools menu, and that's going to have multiple tools that uses color as a way to kind of help musicians in the practice rooms. So, and we'll get to that in a minute. The next one, you have a DMX setup here, and this allows you to kind of set up your DMX fixtures. And then you've got your settings menu here. Settings is for just kind of, you can allow each button or each button and switch, you can assign different functions if you'd like. So it's got some defaults, but if you really want to go into it and tailor it to your specific needs, you can do that. And then lastly is updates. So one of the benefits to this latest version now is that when somebody has this pedal, they can periodically check for updates, and as I am continually developing the pedal, just like most products today, you'll have a new update available. It's going to allow you to download the latest software, and then it restarts the pedal with the latest software. Okay, so let's just go through the beginning. So let's go through live mode here. So the first thing it's going to ask you to do is choose a set list. You see I've got a couple different set lists here. I'm just going to choose the first one I have. And then what it does is it's going to load all the colors in your set list, and here's your controls here. So just kind of going through all of it. Let's see if I can bring this down a little here. Okay, so the top left here, you have your upper left encoder, and right now this function is called the global function. So what it does is it takes your colors that are right here and it kind of rotates them around the color wheel. And the purpose of this is so you can easily change colors without having to physically go in and directly change the colors and hard code them into it. So if I wanted to, I can rotate this, and you can see it just kind of rotates all the colors around the color wheel. And then this built-in switch right now, if I click it, it just kind of resets it to the original position. The top left encoder is the colors, the number of colors. So right now I have 3. I can easily bring that down to 2 or 1, or I can go all the way up to 4. The next thing is, since we'll just stay on the encoders, the bottom left encoder is the decay rate. So if I go ahead and turn this on, let's see if I can, I want to see if I have everything set up here. You know what, let's go ahead, I'm going to come back to this. We're going to go and return to the home screen. We're going to go to DMX, and we're going to go ahead and set up our light fixture. So for the fixture that I have behind me, you can see it right down here. You've got an LED bar. I can't really see that right. Okay, so you've got an LED bar right here, and we're going to kind of set that. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go and set our red channel, and just to check our red channel, we're going to, it's on channel 1 right now, and if I move this slider, you'll see that the light back here is lighting up red, and I'm going to bring this up here, and you'll see that it actually matches the lighting output here. And so if this was the wrong color, let's say I had it on a different channel by accident, you see it's red, it's supposed to be red on the pedal, and you can see it's lighting up green, so that's actually incorrect. So this is going to help you set up everything nice and easily. So we've confirmed that red is channel 1 here, so that's good. I'll save that. Let's go to green. Make sure green is right. You can see that green is okay. Okay, we'll go to blue. Make sure blue is correct. Blue is correct. White. There actually is no white on this fixture, so we're going to skip that one for now. Amber is channel 4, and you can see that works just nicely. And then 5 is going to be ultraviolet light here. Okay, so we've got those set. And these other channels here for brightness channel, the volume channel, and the note channels, that's really for in the future. You can send that information to a lighting software, where now you're able to give this lighting software that's for lighting designers, you're able to send it values for like your MIDI note values and your brightness and your volume channels. So now they're able to take the information from this pedal and do fully live and interactive things on their software. Anyway, so everything's kind of set here. We can go ahead and lock these so we don't have to mess with these. You can see I've got a second fixture I can manipulate if I want, or I can set up. And then I want to check and make sure that the starting address is correct. So if it was, let's say, on the wrong starting address, and I do the red, you can see it's not correct. And so this is wrong, so we want to go back to red here. And you can see this is red and this is working. And now we can just check everything. We can add some green, and then we can add some blue, and now it's kind of a white-ish. We can bring these down. We can go ahead and add some amber. We can go ultraviolet. And this is just for allowing you to check and make sure you've got all the different colors working. So that's all good. We're okay here. And so now when we go back to live mode, and we select our set list and we go live, we should be able to adjust the gain, and now you can see we've got colors working nicely. Okay, so going back to the decay, let's see. Oh, I think this froze. Let me see if I can restart this. Wow, it froze on me. Let's try this. Back to pedal. Okay. Yeah, I don't know why it did that. This tends to do that quite a bit. Okay, so anyways, so now what you see is we're live now, and we're performing, and we've got 4 different color palettes that it's responding to. And to go back to where I was in the beginning, looking at the bottom left here, you have a decay. And so what this is when I have a volume at a full brightness, it's going to take 120 beats per minute as a decay rate. So for example, 120 beats is like the Star Spangled Banner. Dut, 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 dut. And if I turn up the gain, which is your bottom right, if I turn it up really high, you can see that it's got quite the decay matches the BPM. Now I can take this knob and I can bring it down. If I go down to a lower one, you can see it takes a long time to fade out. And I can go all the way up too. I can go super high if I'd like to. This is much faster. And then I can press the switch here and I can switch to real time. That way there's no decay at all. Okay, so we've gone through the 4 encoders. The gain is over here. If I wanted to click the switch here, I can fine tune the gain if I wanted to get a really nice sweet spot. But I don't really need to do that. And then let's go through the foot switches, which are down here. So the foot switches on the pedal itself. Let me go ahead and mute this for a second. So looking at the foot switches, you've got your 3 here, and these actually are represented by your 3 buttons down here. So you've got the previous button here, which is the previous song, on and mute. If I click this, you can see it turns it on and off. Check, 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 check. And then the same with the next. This would be cycling through the different songs in your color palette. So for example, if I click next here on the screen, you can see it changes color palettes and just kind of cycles through the set list. And then same with previous. You also have a quick, in case these functions are something else, you can do the same thing using these arrows here as well. Okay, so we've gone to the foot switches and the expression pedals. I'm sorry, the encoders. Now on the bottom here, the bottom of the right screen, you can see my foot using an expression pedal, and what it's doing is it's manipulating the expression pedals here, the values on expression pedal 1, which is right here. And expression pedal 2 is not hooked up. So I don't have any functions that are assigned to these for the moment, but that's something we'll dive into later. So we've gone through all the hardware. Let's go through the other features that are on this live mode screen. So the first thing here is you've got your instrument range. So right now my instrument is set to this tenor saxophone. If I wanted to change that, I can click the instrument range here. And this is kind of a bare bones editing window for the instrument. It'll be much more polished later, but basically it allows you to kind of check and set up which instrument you want. You can see you've got a whole list of different instruments to choose from here. And if I go to choose something like, let's just go to alto flute, it will actually give you kind of a default setting on your instrument range. And then if I want to, I can go ahead and I can adjust the different notes that I want. I can even do octaves up and down. And the way this will work down the road is you'll have an actual staff with the range of the written range, and then you can drag the notes up and down, and you can tap sharps and flats, and you can tap 8VA or 8VB, etc. So if I were to go and do this, let's just say for this example, I'm going to just set it to kind of piano. It's pretty wide range. Then I'm going to go ahead and save it. We are now using the piano with that specific range we've set up. So that's how this instrument range works. The next thing I want to go through is this is the name of your song. If you wanted to edit the song name, you can just click it and you can just change it to something else here. Remember, this is kind of a touch screen, so I'm using the mouse now, but you guys will actually be using your fingers. So let's just call it song D. Okay, and then you can see now that this is updated here. The next thing here is your audio source. So as of right now, you can see that I'm using, as I tap the microphone up here, let's move this up here. As I tap the microphone, you can see it's registering. But let's say I want to switch it to my audio source on the audio input over here. I can just click this, and now we're on the audio input jack. So now you can see the mic doesn't work anymore. And so that's just an easy way to toggle your audio input, really one-time use. So unless you're changing things around. Okay, the next thing we can go through, this is kind of the display. So as you can see, this is kind of showing you a sine wave representation of the frequencies that are being registered. You can see that the pitches that are being registered are down here. And then the next thing you can do is you can click any one of these color parameter or these colors to kind of edit them. So if I want to click this one, it's going to open up my my color region 3, and I can just kind of drag and I can just set this to what I want. I can add some amber in there, even some ultraviolet light if I wanted to. But let's say I wanted to keep this color, and then you can see that's now updated. So if you want to do individual updating for colors, then that works great. And then again, you can go ahead and do the whole thing using the global right here. The next thing is the dynamic mode. This is just a button that toggles between two different types of performance modes. Dynamic, which is now, which basically is setting the colors based on volume. So if you have a very loud sound, let me see if I can simulate this now. I'll bring this decay down. So let's say I want to set this to, I want to give it a nice blue. So we'll bring that down, but let's say I want to, that's a better looking blue. Okay, so the way it works now is when I'm at a loud volume, it's going to register a blue, and then as I'm fading through the volumes, or as I'm getting softer and softer, it will gradually gravitate through the greens and then move into the reds. So if I go and turn this on, you can see if I tap it, it's going to be blue really loud. And let me see if I can turn this sound or the light off. So when I hit this, it starts blue, and then it's going to fade to green, and then eventually fade to red, as you can see right there. The other mode is polyphonic, and what that does is that takes all of the different frequencies in your sound, it kind of adds them all together, and then it creates a color that's a combination of all your different harmonics and overtones. So if I had a very low, if I had a lot of lows in my vocals, then you can see it would be more on the red side, which it already is. And if I talked a little bit higher, or like as a as a vocalist, if I'm going way up here, you can see that it's actually a different color, and it's over in the higher registers. So, okay. Last thing I wanted to go through is, actually I think that's it for this. If I wanted to return to my live mode screen, or I'm sorry, my main screen, I just click the icon here, and now I'm back to my original screen. I don't have the song set up, so we'll go through that another time. Next thing is the tools. Now there's only two tools that I'm going to be really building into this, and one of them is the color tuner, as you can see right here. Another one will down the road be a metronome, and the idea is that we're using colors to kind of help with musicians in the practice room. So for many of you who use tuners, generally you can't use them in real time. You kind of have to stare at the note, you have to wait for it to register, and then you got to stare at the tuner to see if it's registering and where it is, if it's sharp or flat or or in tune. And so one of the issues with that is you can't really practice passages in real time, and your eyes are fixated on the tuner. So the idea with this is it's going to register green when you're playing in tune, and then as you're getting more flats, you can see that it will turn towards blues and purples, and as you get more sharp, it'll be yellows, oranges, and reds. And so you can be able to see this stuff instantly. So if I were to turn this on and just try and sing, you can see I'm way sharp. And so that's an easy way for you to figure out where you're in tune. And you can do this on multiple notes in, let's say, a sequence or a motif or something like that. So going through all the features on this one, I'll go ahead and mute this again. So you've got a button here that allows you to do equal temperament tuning or just tuning. So if I want to do just tuning, if I'm in the key of A or in the key of E or B flat, I can choose those, and then it will adjust the tuning accordingly. The next thing, you still have your audio source, so you can switch between your direct input or your microphone. You can tune to different frequencies if you want here. In the main window here, it'll tell you what pitch it is, as well as you've got a dial here that tells you where if you're sharp or flat. The backlight will be this matching color if you're sharp or flat, which will match the same color as your lighting output here. It'll tell you if you're in tune or sharp or flat, and then by how much. And then the bottom left is a sensitivity, and what that does is that's going to allow you to be in tune plus or minus 10 cents right now. So for a beginner, if you wanted to hike this up to 15, then it's just easier to get in tune or for it to register as in tune. And then as you get more advanced, you can go all the way down to plus or minus 1 cent. So that's how that works. And then you still have the gain, so you can adjust the gain here as normal. And then you've got an on or off switch. In the future, when we do the metronome is going to be it's a similar concept. We're using color to kind of help musicians in keeping tempo. So in the case of working with like a Dr. beat, as you play and you hit your beats, when you're right on the beat, you're going to light up green. As you start to lay back and fall behind, you're going to literally be playing the blues. You're going to be falling behind there. And if you start to rush, you're starting to get into the yellows and oranges and reds. So now going back, we kind of went through DMX, so we've already set it up. You've got two different fixtures you can set up here, and at some point you'll be able to kind of label which fixtures. So if you want to use your own or use a venue's, you've got presets that you can keep available on the pedals, so you don't have to go through this constantly. The next thing is settings, and settings is going to allow you to customize the pedal really in detail. So you can choose the different functions for all the foot switches, all the different knobs, and the expression pedals. The DMX is kind of an overview of what sort of parameters you want to lock in. For example, if you want the stage lights to stay at a minimum brightness, you can do that here. Or let's say you don't want to overpower other lights on stage or other areas, then maybe you can set the maximum as a threshold, and you can kind of compress the lighting that way. The instrument settings is going to allow you to set your primary instrument, as well as you can create a group of like secondary instruments. So as you saw when I went to adjust my instrument in live mode, I had a whole Rolodex full of instruments, but if I only play flute or soprano sax or alto sax or piano as my secondary instruments, I can just go through those, and it's just a quicker way of getting to where you need to go. The touch screen is going to allow you to control the brightness of the display itself, so that way it's not too distracting when you're on stage. And then pedal settings is going to allow you to kind of just set up certain things, like the pedal ID. So just a quick example. If I go to the expression pedal settings, you can see here that if I use my expression pedal, you can see my actual value here is being updated. And so if I wanted to set a function to, let's say, I want to control the audio gain using an expression pedal here, I can set the range of the audio, like the lowest being a value of like a gain level of 1, and maybe the maximum being a gain level of like 38. And so that way it'll stay between there. And then just to make sure, you can calibrate the pedal. Let's say if my values here, I'm getting a minimum of like 20 and a maximum of, in this case, 1023. I can set my range, and then that way it accurately will stay where it needs to. So that's how you would set this one up here. And then if we go into the pedal settings, if I want to kind of just label the pedal ID, I can put my name in here. I can put like a nickname, my email address in case there's like promotions or upgrades or deals down the road. And then I can label the pedal name. If I wanted to call this FX, I can do that. And then I can also set my primary instrument here. And that's really it there. So yeah, so that's kind of it. I hope this was informative, and I will be starting to put out videos of me messing around with this. Let's just kind of do one example here, just to see how it goes. So if I were to do this, and I've got my settings here, for some reason it froze on the display, but it's actually functioning. So I'm going to run it again, just to make sure. Okay, and then we're just going to set this one up here as pedal 1 again. There we go. Alright, so now we've got it back. Let's go and set this again. Alright, so we've got something going on here. It's for some reason, I think it I see. There's a glitch in the pedal software, so I will have to go and update that. At any rate, I hope this was informative. If you guys have any questions or comments, please let me know, and I will be putting out videos soon. All right, take care.